So now I want to start to show you some of the query wizards. So far, we're making our queries by picking on the Create menu and then pick on Query Design. And that's how you make a query from scratch. But I want to show you three of the four query wizards. So I'm going to pick on the word Query Wizard right there on the Create menu. The simple query wizard doesn't really buy you anything. There's no reason to use it. So it's not really saving you any time, or you might as well make a query from scratch if you're going to use the simple query wizard. These three are very helpful. The Crosstab Query Wizard is going to give you results similar to what you might see in a pivot table. So for example, I'm going to show a query that will give us a summary by customer by month. So I'll pick on Crosstab Query Wizard and I'll pick on OK. Now I'm going to use the orders table. So we'll pick on orders. We're just going through the wizard. And I'll pick on next. Now the row headings is what's going to be on each row. So I want the customers on each row, so I'll double click on customer ID. So the customer ID will be on each row. That's the row headings. Pick on next. The column headings means what's going to be on each column. You can use any other field as a cross-reference, but if I wanted it by month or by year, then I would use a date field. So I'll pick on order date and I'll pick on next. Now it knows that that's a date field. That would have to be a date time data type. So now I can make each column a year, quarter, month, or date. So I'll pick on month. You can start to see the grid down here. Each row is a different customer and each column is a different month. So I'll pick on next. Then it says, what number do you want calculated for each column and row intersection? So here we'll use a number field. I'll use order amount, and then I'll do a sum. And you have different calculations over there. So what am I asking for? I'm saying for each different customer, for each different month, let's get a sum of the orders for that month. So I'll pick on next. And now the name of the query will be called Orders Crosstab. I'll say Orders Crosstab by customer, just to give it a better name. That'll be the name of the actual query. And I'll pick on Finish. Let's see what it looks like. So each row is a different customer. There's the total for each customer, and then it's broken down month by month. That was a really, really great result, and that's what we call the Crosstab Query Wizard. Let's give it another shot. So I'm going to close that window. So to do the Crosstab Query Wizard, I'll pick on the Create menu, and I'll pick on Query Wizard, and we'll use the Crosstab Query Wizard. Click on OK. Let's do a summary by employee by month this time. So I'll get the orders table, pick on next. This time each row is going to be a different employee. So I'll double click on employee ID, and I'll pick on next. Again, we don't have to use a date field here. I could use any other field, but I want to do it by month, so I'll pick on order date, and I'll pick on next. I want it by month. I'll pick on next. Once again, I'll use the order amount and the sum. So this time, I'm asking for a sum by each month by employee. We'll pick on next. Now I'll call that one Orders Crosstab by employee. And that'll be that query name. I'll pick on Finish, and now each employee has the total, and it's then broken down by the month. So that's a really, really powerful query there. It's called the Crosstab Query Wizard. I'm going to close this window. And you can start to see those queries are over there. Let me show you some of the other wizards. So let's go back to the Query Wizard again under the Create menu. Find duplicates means it'll look at a table and see if there's any duplicate values. So before I do that one, let me make sure there is some duplicates. So I'm going to go into the products table. I just double clicked on the products table. So I'm just going to change. So look, I'm going to highlight aniseed syrup and copy that. And then I'll paste it over here. So now I'm going to make sure there's a duplicate. And then I'll highlight the word tofu, copy that one, and paste it over here. Just making sure there's duplicates so I can show you. So I'm going to close that window. Let's run the Find Duplicates query. So I'll pick on Query Wizard on the Create menu, and we'll say Find Duplicates Query Wizard. It means find the duplicates within one table, okay? So I'll click on OK. I want to use the products table, and it was really this products table that I just changed. I'll pick on next. What field might contain the duplicate information? The product name, okay? If you picked more than one field, then they would all have to be duplicates to make it a duplicate. So, if you pick more than one, then all the fields would have to be duplicated. So I'll pick on next. Then it says, what other fields do I want to show when we find the duplicates? Well, we might as well show all of the fields. So I'll pick on all of the fields and pick on next. And that's the end of that query, or the end of that wizard. It says find duplicates for products, and I'll pick on finish. So remember how we did aniseed syrup? Now I guess BMW was in there twice and tofu was in there twice. So you wouldn't want to delete both of those. One of those is the original. So then at least you know which ones are duplicated, and then you can see what you're going to do from there. It's not going to delete them, and you probably wouldn't want to delete one of them until you know which one is the actual duplicate. But that was a good way to find the duplicates within a table. That was called the Find Duplicates Query Wizard. Let's do another wizard here. Find Unmatched Query Wizard. That means I want to find records that are in one table that are not in another table. So I want to see if there's any customers that don't have a matching order in the orders table. So I'll say Find Unmatched Query Wizard. We're going to click on OK. This actually would go back to some of the relational stuff that we've been talking about. So which table or query contains the records that you want? So I'll use the customers table as the first table, the table that I'm looking for, and I'll pick on next. What table contains the related records? So you would pick a different table here. I'll pick on the orders table. So you pick two tables that will have a common field, and we know that they do. So I'll pick on next. What piece of information is in both tables? Now, this is important. Because we made that relationship in the tables course, it knows which field is the common field. It's customer ID. See how customer ID is chosen over here and customer ID is chosen over here. If that was not chosen for you, you would pick a field over here, you would pick the common field over here, and then make sure you pick on the double arrow, and then the double arrow will cause the matching fields. So if that's not there for you, you would do it yourself. But if you made a relationship between those two tables, then it probably will find that for you. So I'll pick on next. What fields do I want to see? We might as well show all of the fields. So this will show us all of the customers in the customers table that don't have a match in the orders table. So I'll pick on next. And it turns out, well, we'll call the query customers without matching orders. That's a good name for that. So I'll pick on finish. And it turns out there's actually 3 different customers in the customers table that don't have a matching order in the orders table. Here's the one that we added actually in the tables course. So I did not add an order for that customer, and that makes sense. That's a customer without a matching order. So when you pick on the Create menu, if you want to make a query from scratch, you can use Query Design. But if you pick on Query Wizard, the 3 really good ones are the Crosstab Query Wizard, the Find Duplicates Query Wizard, and the Find Unmatched Query Wizard. So you can see what great results you get with those. Hopefully you got some good ideas of how to use those query wizards.